Depeche Mode, England's crown jewels, and Watergate are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is May 9th, 2022. It is the 129th day of the year. There are 236 days left. It is the 19th Monday in the 20th week and the 51st day of spring. If today's your birthday, you're still a Taurus. Today is National Sock Memorial Day. May 9th recognizes the fun and unique holiday of National Lost Sock Memorial Day. It is time to say goodbye to all the single socks, the ones where their mates have been lost to the unknown. Where do all the missing socks go? My personal opinion, I believe it's little trolls that live under your couch, but that's just me. Is it the washing machine? Is it the dryer? Are people stealing our socks? We've all experienced the heartache of losing a loved sock. Where they go is a mystery that'll haunt all of us to our last day. It's so sad. All right, let's see what else May 9th has given us. 1671, Thomas Blood, disguised as a clergyman, attempts to steal England's crown jewels from the Tower of London. So this was an interesting caper, I guess you could say. Back in the day, you could view the crown jewels for a fee that was paid to the custodian. The custodian was like the security guard. He lived right outside the door of the crown jewels, and you had to go through him to actually see them. So Blood shows up as a clergyman. Back in the day, clergymen could be married, so he shows up with his supposed wife, who really wasn't his wife. While they're viewing the crown jewels, she feigns some kind of illness and passes out on the ground. Well, they go through this whole ordeal and get her up to the guy's apartment, give her water, give her something to drink, and, she's all better. The next day, they show up with a gift to thank them for helping her out when she was doing, when she collapsed. During that meeting, they mentioned that the jewel custodian had a daughter that was of the marrying age, and they had a nephew that was of the same age, and maybe they should meet. By this time, they'd become somewhat friendly and thought that was a great idea and had them over for dinner with the nephew, and the nephew brought a couple friends. Basically, this was Thomas Blood's gang. During dinner, they suggested, hey, why don't we take a look at the jewels? And the jewel custodian thought, okay. He unlocks the area to go see the jewels, and they club him with a mallet and put a hood over his head. They bust into the case, which holds the crown jewels, and start smashing it down with a mallet so they could hide it under their cloak and leave. So there's different reports on what happened next. The 77-year-old jewel custodian apparently either made enough of a commotion or he refused to be subdued and made enough noise that other guards came. And there's other reports that his adult son had shown up and, kind of stepped in on this theft. Whatever the case may be, at some point the gang decided to grab the jewels and they grabbed the scepter and they took off. Well, now everyone's in alert and everyone's yelling. One guy yelled treason, murder, the crown has been stolen. And this basically alarms everyone and all the guards, and they chase this group of people down. So they're captured, and Blood refuses to talk to anyone but the king. So they finally take him to the king in chains. He was questioned by King Charles, Prince Rupert, and a few other people. And at some point, King Charles said, "What if I should give you your life?" Which he replied, "I would endeavor to deserve it, sire." And for some reason, which nobody knows, Blood was not only pardoned, but was also given land in Ireland. Some years later, after he was forgiven for all this, he insulted the Duke of Buckingham, who sentenced him to a year in jail and a penalty of £10,000, which he never paid because he spent a year in jail and died 2 months after he got out of jail. 1926, Admiral E. Byrd and Floyd Bennett claimed to have flown over the North Pole. Later discovered in Byrd's diary, it appears he didn't do it at all. 1941, World War II, the German submarine U-110 is captured by the Royal Navy. On board is the latest Enigma machine, which Allied cryptographers later used to break coded German messages. 1955, the Cold War, West Germany joins NATO. 1960, the Food and Drug Administration announces it will approve birth control. Basically, the pill becomes a thing. 1974, the Watergate scandal. The United States House Committee on the Judiciary opens up formal and public impeachment hearings against President Richard Nixon. 1980, in Florida, the United States, Liberian freighter MV Summit Venture collides with the Sunshine Skyway Bridge over Tampa Bay, making the 114-foot section of the southbound span collapse. 35 people in 6 cars and a Greyhound bus fall 150 feet into the water and die. 2017, U.S. President Donald Trump fires FBI Director James Comey. Not personally, he fired him on Fox News. That's how James Comey found out. 2020, the COVID-19 recession causes the U.S. unemployment rate to hit 14.9%. That's the worst rate since the Great Depression. Movies released on May 9th, 2014, Neighbors. This was a really funny movie. This starred Zac Efron, Seth Rogen, Dave Franco, Rose Byrne, a whole bunch of other people. It was hysterical. Basically, a young couple and their child move in next door to a fraternity house. And when they call the police on the fraternity one night for a party, they claim they've broken the circle of trust, and then they just make their lives hell. Very funny movie if you ever get a chance. Born on May 9th, 1962, Dave Gahan. If you don't know who he is the lead singer of the British band Depeche Mode. He also had a successful solo career. He studied at South End Art College, and he joined Depeche Mode in 1980. The band was originally called Composition of Sound. I've seen Depeche Mode several times. Very, very good bands. One of my favorite in the 80s and 90s. I don't know. Their later stuff, it just kind of, I don't know if it turned me off or what. I just quit listening to them at one point. When they weren't really popular and they were kind of felt like this underground thing, I really liked them a lot more. When they went mainstream, it just didn't seem the same. And that happens with a lot of groups, I think. You could all go back to listening to Mamas and Papas or Jefferson Airplane and feel the same way. Died on March 9th, 2010, we lost Lena Horne, 20th century African-American singer and actress. She famously sang Stormy Weather, and she won a Grammy Award in 1981 for the album entitled Lena Horne, The Lady and Her Music, and appeared in films like The Wiz, Broadway Rhythm, and the Siegfried Follies. After dropping out of high school at the age of 16, she performed at Harlem's famous Cotton Club. She died of heart failure at the age of 92 in New York City. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now, don't forget to hit that like button. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.